People often ask me who are my favourite guitar YouTubers, and it's hard to say really because I watch that many guitar channels. There's loads of great stuff out there, so much creativity and talent that's out there. It's honestly amazing. But I do have a couple of kind of go-to channels, that I watch all the time. So I thought in this video it would be fun to share them with you. Hopefully there'll be some channels in this list that you've never heard of. And yeah, I can turn you on to these channels and you can start enjoying their content too. By the way, before we dive in, these aren't ranked in any order. These are just my 10 favorite guitar YouTube channels. Okay, the first channel is Lill. Jim is a country musician. I think he's from Nashville. And the reason why I like his channel is he's always doing kind of crazy experiments around guitars, guitar tone. It's not your average YouTube channel. I think if you're interested in guitar music in general and how guitars work and how tone works, he's a really interesting guy to look at. The other thing is what I quite enjoy about it is it's just nice sort of having a peek into that world. I'm not a big country music fan by any means. It's not one of my favourite genres. But although I do really love the storytelling elements that are inherent in country music, super cool. But one of the things I really respect about country music and Nashville, and that scene in general, is like those guys really know how to write songs and they really know how to produce songs. And if you listen to the way some of those recordings are put together, like they really know what they're doing down there. And if there is a guitar capital in the world, probably is Nashville, isn't it? So it makes sense that there'd be lots of talented guitarists there. So I think to summarize for me, the reason why I like Jim's channel is I like having a peek into that world because it's so different to my world and my musical background and upbringing and influences. I like seeing what's going on there, it's fun. And also, he's a super talented, creative YouTuber who's coming up with really great ideas and interesting videos all the time. He should have way more subscribers than he does. Go and check him out, Lill. Okay, next on the list is Chris Buck. Chris is a brilliant guitarist, such soulful, almost vocal-like playing. I just love watching his jams that he does on his channel. But also, he's a really sharp guy. He's an intelligent bloke. He's got interesting points to make about guitar culture, guitar history, and what's happening in music at the moment. But mainly, I think the main thing I like about his channel is just watching him play and just being like, wow. And you pick up so many good ideas. There's so much variety in the way he plays. He's got such an amazing feel. Yeah, brilliant channel. If you're not already watching Chris Buck, get on it. The next channel is Justin Hawkins. So his YouTube channel, I think it's called Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Justin is the frontman of The Darkness, who I think are a criminally underrated band. And I actually think that their album Permission to Land, I think that might be one of the most underrated guitar albums. It kind of burned brightly when it came out and then nobody seems to speak about it. That is an amazing album. That is an amazing album. I love that album. But also Justin is a slightly odd and unusual character, and I mean that in a good way. He's quite, he sees things from quite an unusual angle, and his channel is basically him waxing lyrical, commenting on, music, bands in general. He's not afraid to ruffle a few feathers, which I like. He's got some controversial opinions, but they're always backed up with an articulate and intelligent, rationale. He's an interesting dude, and he's got lots of good, musical stories. Also, it's worth watching Justin's channel, not just for his controversial opinions or his interesting ideas, but for his sensational clothing. If you're not already watching Justin's channel, check it out. Okay, next on the list is Rhett Shull. Rhett is a guitar YouTuber. I think he's based in Atlanta, in the US. And he is also, a gigging musician. I've learned so much from watching Rhett's videos because I think I've mentioned this before on here. I'm not really a gear guy, and for a long time I was primarily an acoustic player. And if I was playing an electric guitar, I would just put it straight into an amp, and then I would just drive the amp, and that was how I got the tone I wanted. So I've never been a big pedal guy or really a big tone guy, and I think for that reason, because those things are Rhett's strengths, I think that's why I've learned so many things from him. His channel is really interesting. He's always doing interesting things to do with guitars, visiting guitar shops, looking at vintage guitars, reviewing guitar pedals, talking about tone, musicianship, stagecraft. I've been watching his channel for a couple of years now, and it's really starting to blow up now, which is good. He absolutely deserves it. He's a very talented bloke. So if you're not already watching Rhett's channel, get on it. Trust me, you will enjoy it. The next channel is Andertons. Andertons are a UK-based music retailer, but I enjoy their videos. It's mainly gear stuff, it's mainly gear reviews, gear shootouts, that type of thing. I like the personalities of the people that are on there. It's always a fun watch. And I think probably the main reason to watch is just to see, different guitars being compared to other guitars, different pedals, different effects. Yeah, basically anything to do with guitar gear. Like obviously they're a retailer, so they're reviewing stuff that they sell. But it's really interesting to see the breadth of, gear, technology, guitars, effects, all of the stuff that they do on that channel. Okay, quick point. This is something that occurred to me when I was doing this list. There's no women on this list, so I'm not having it that there aren't brilliant female guitar YouTube channels, but for whatever reason YouTube doesn't show them to me, or I don't come across them. I think guitar music in general, I think it does skew more male than female, just based off my own experience from our own students and the people who contact us. But maybe it's, I don't know, 55% male, or maybe it's 60% male. So yeah, I would love to find some really good guitar YouTube channels with, that are more female focused. I've got daughters myself, they play the guitar, I'd like to share that with them. So if you know any really great, female guitar YouTube channels, please drop them in the comments. I would love to discover more of them. Okay, next on the list is Tim Pierce. Tim is a session guitarist based in LA. He is just like an incredible guitarist. It seems so effortless when he plays. He's played on, so many, multi-million selling records over the years. There'll be loads of records that you know and love that you didn't even realize that Tim was playing the guitar on them. He's a super nice guy. He's got a great energy. He's not an elitist or a snob. Basically what Tim does on his channel is share his love of the guitar, and that's super infectious, and I couldn't be more on board with that. Okay, the next channel is Norman's Rare Guitars. Now this is a shop, I think it's based in LA, and I guess what it says on the tin. They sell kind of vintage and noteworthy and interesting guitars. But on their YouTube channel, they also have artists performing in the store most of the time, just straight up with a mic acoustically. Some really, really talented musicians that I've discovered through watching that channel. If you're interested in guitars, if you're interested in discovering new artists, maybe in genres that you wouldn't otherwise come across, the YouTube channel for Norman's Rare Guitars is a great place to look. The next channel is Rob Scallon. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Scallon. Rob is a YouTuber, a multi-instrumentalist, and just an insanely creative guy. I really like watching his videos. If you want to just get, an outpouring of creativity, it's like you're drinking from a fire hose. This guy is just incredible. Super, super interesting things and unusual instruments that he finds and plays. It could be like some kind of crazy medieval lute that's got like 17 strings on it, or, like a saw, just like a piece of metal that they're making music with. I also absolutely adore the videos he does where he makes an album in a day. Like that's some going that, I think maybe I could do like 4 or 5 brand new songs in a day recorded in the studio, but like 10, 12, that's pretty hardcore. It's very impressive. Check out Rob's channel, you will enjoy it. Okay, next on the list is Rick Beato. Rick is a producer and a YouTuber, and he really covers a lot of ground. I discovered Rick by watching his What Makes This Song Great series, which is essentially a kind of tear down of songs where he digs into the individual stems of the song, like the individual tracks, to look at what's happening in the song. I think he looks at it primarily as a producer, from an angle of what's happening in terms of how the song's produced. I think I enjoy that series so much purely from the point of being a musician in a band and part of an ensemble, and you're figuring out who does what, who drops out, when this happens. It's like you're composing. The difference between writing on an acoustic guitar and writing in a band setting is you're kind of composing in 3D. There's other dimensions that you've got to think about, and I think music producers really understand that. Of course they do, that's what they do for a living. Rick, with all of his experience of being a producer on big records, of course he understands that, and it's fascinating to see his take on how songs are crafted and built and put together, and why different moments work. But also Rick has lots of other stuff on his channel, like interviews, music theory tutorials, general music chat, great stories. Rick's been in the music industry for years and years, and he's always got some interesting, you know, funny anecdote or story about something that happened. It's an entertaining channel. Again, I've learned a lot from watching Rick. You always feel like you're just, you know, in the room kind of hanging out with him, which I think is a nice laid back vibe for a YouTube channel. And the last channel I wanted to mention here is the Stu Mac YouTube channel. Now, Stu Mac, they make luthier tools and supplies. So if you don't already know, a luthier is somebody who makes guitars, or at least somebody who can, you know, repair guitars or maintain them or set them up right so they play nicely. I don't know what you actually call, you know, that crap. I know somebody is a luthier, but that sort of act of looking after a guitar, I don't know, is it luthiery? I don't know. If somebody knows, please leave it in the comments. But that, you know, aspect of the guitar world is something I've got into a lot lately, because essentially, if you learn some of those luthier skills, even basic stuff, what it does is it makes your guitars more fun to play. And I never really made that connection. I always thought it was like this super artisan woodwork kind of craft, you know, and I always thought that was something that wasn't for me. But since I've managed to connect it, you know, after like 25 years of playing, I've kind of figured out that, right, if you know some of those skills of how to set an instrument up, it makes it more fun to play your guitar, and you sound better as an instrument because the guitar is easier to play. So I've really got interested in that. I've learned a lot about, you know, how to set up the neck of a guitar, the relief in the neck, you know, altering the truss rod, tweaking the saddles, crowning the frets. There's loads of interesting things that they cover on that channel, and it's a really interesting like intersection for me between musical, you know, musical application, but also woodworking, and there's almost a bit of science in there as well, in understanding, you know, the physics of how and why the instrument works. So there's lots of interesting topics there for me. I think the other thing that I really love about the channel is it's not too flashy. You know, it's like there's a guitar there in the room, but they're just, you know, good people that love music, doing a good job and sharing something that they love with you. And I really like that. If you're interested in improving the playability of your guitars, check out the Stu Mac guitar channel. Okay, so they're my 10 favorite YouTube guitar channels. I hope there's some new ones in there that you don't already know about. I hope that you enjoy checking those channels out. So now my question to you is, what are your favorite guitar YouTube channels? Put them in the comments below. What am I missing here? You know, I've just shared 10 of my favorites with you, so it'll be quite clear to you the type of stuff I enjoy. What am I missing? Like, what are your go-to YouTube channels that aren't in this list, and why? Tell me what's good about them. And also leave in the comments, please, some cool female-focused YouTube channels. That would be super cool. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you again soon.